Er, Not only was I in my fleece and zipped up in my sleeping bag last night, but I'm regretting the fact that I didn't grab my puppy. My parents are going to come see me at Twin Lakes in about 2 weeks with my shoes, so I figured I'd just grab it then. So, I'm getting cold if I'm wearing my rain jacket. I just haven't needed it. Making coffee in my sleeping bag in my tent. All is right with the world, other than the severe foot pain. So the issue with my right foot has gotten better, though it was hurting a little bit at the end of the day. But my left foot, it feels like it bruised the tendon or something. But hopefully I can just work it out as I move. I mean, I did make 24 miles yesterday, though the last 0.7 of that was off trail to get here. Well, the spot was right up my alley. There was a good amount of traffic noise. Once again, I was very happy to have those loop earplugs. Normally I'd work harder to get out of view of any sort of road, but this doesn't seem like it's heavily used, and I was just done last night. So it's about 7:45, and we're just going to go with me being concerned about walking the road in dark again versus me just being lazy and not wanting to deal with my hurt feet and heavy traffic. At one point, I thought I heard a car door slam, and I was like, oh no. I was getting ready to do a spiel if anybody had found me and came over and talked. So, score another one for things working out eventually. I wish I could say this spot had been on my radar, but sadly, this was kind of a last minute thing I saw when I was walking by. I had 2 more spots that were on that same road that were further ahead, one being the firehouse and the other being a stream crossing, but nothing had worked out of my previous one, so I wasn't hopeful. And now it'll be marked, so people coming through here in the future will have it. I've noticed there hasn't been many camping icons through here. Probably some combination of people taking the more direct, shorter route up the road, staying in hotels. I was looking ahead, trying to kind of read the tea leaves as far as this wiggle. My guess is it's taking me up this way just to hit the start of the Colorado Trail before diving back down. So it'll follow the Colorado Trail down into Denver, and then I go up on some other trails along that main artery, 75, whatever it is. Part of me is still bummed about the delay and tempted to just start grabbing trails and heading west and cutting miles. But if I start doing that, it's going to turn into what I've seen with some other folks out here, where that's their only focus. They're not enjoying being out here. It's just all about trying to cut miles and do whatever is quickest and get it done. And I want to enjoy the experience, not just be focused on another check mark for the yield hiking resume. And as of right now, I'm a little under 2,000 miles to San Francisco. It all gets a little ishy because, the exact mileage numbers vary a bit. So I am within range, even if this had, let's say I, broke something and I just had to bail off the trail completely. I would still be within range where I could conceivably finish it coming back next year. Again, we're going to be canoeing the Yukon River, source to sea sort of thing, 2,000 some miles for Jen's summer. So that will take us from June until early August. And then my plan was to come back out here if I had not finished this. I still would like to finish this in 1 year because then I can go do something else fun. But I've got a reasonable plan. And my schedule is clear until December, basically. I may have to come off earlier due to winter weather. At a certain point, it gets non-viable. But I've got another couple of months out here, ideally. I know a few of the other people out here have been getting off trail. Zach ended up jumping off after about 1,400 miles. He was struggling after he had COVID on trail. And he's planning to come back after building up some more money in like a year and a half, I think. I know at least one of the guys that was taking every shortcut available has to finish in October sometime. So he is apparently literally doing every single shortcut, just focused on trying to move forward. And then there's little old me doing the thing as long as I can do the thing. There are a couple of different section hikers and such out here also. I did use my tent time this morning and last night to kind of stretch out my feet. was watching the last of House of the Dragon, so I had a good amount of time last night. And they're doing a little better this morning, it feels like. And I kind of expected that. I know better than to just be off of them and jump back on. But like I said, I was in kind of rough shape. Didn't want to do much more tottering around than I had to. So this road I'm going to tee into up here is the route. That's where I was last night, and I came up this hill to camp. It's going to go up past the firehouse, and in about another 5 miles, it climbs up to about 8,500, looks like, up on Rampart, and then eventually picks up the start of the Colorado Trail. Today, at least, I am less worried about camping. I'm just hoping there's going to be some water sources up there, because there's some campsites marked, but nothing else. I do have the CDT Far Out guide, which has water source info and things. I do not have the Colorado Trail one, because honestly, that one's just not really on my radar to hike. Looks fun and all, but I mean, it overlaps with part of the CDT, and those trails are kind of funny. So that one is high altitude. It's like 800 miles, I think. And it's really popular because, you know, it's doable in a shorter time frame. You don't have to take off 5-6 months to do one of the big trails. But the overlap that I was on, it was really busy. And the funny thing about our lifestyle right now is we are more set up to be gone for the entire season over the summer than we are to do just something dinky like 800 miles. Crazy life, huh? Oh yeah, just 800 miles. Psh. I'll do something like the Arizona Trail if it's preseason, but yeah, I don't see myself doing the Colorado Trail anytime soon. Part of the noise this morning is actually there is a parasailer out here buzzing around. I really hope my feet start behaving again here, because this is kind of painful. I was getting increasingly desperate last night. I was looking at a few things that were outside the fence along the road. However, with the amount of traffic here, I figured the chance of me not having somebody stop either to hassle me or just out of concern was pretty low. So I kept pushing it. There was also a communication station that I almost stayed at, but I figured with something that has an internet backbone like that, it's almost guaranteed to have cameras. And again, I don't worry as much about actually getting in trouble, fined, ticketed, arrested. I just don't want to bother people. I don't want the police to have to come out. I don't want to kind of raise the alert level for other people, which has happened. I had somebody in Maryland approach me because one of the early guys had camped in a bad spot. They saw it and they were concerned there was a homeless person living in their creek bed. And there I walked by looking somewhat homeless. Never mind the guy that was triggering the police in DC and bragging about it online. The AT has its issues, but I did actually like what they did with the hang tags, where they give you the hang tags for free. A lot of people want them. In order to get them, you have to sit through a little leave no trace spiel, and they talk about just being a good steward of the trail, especially on the northern end where things get a little more restrictive. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, it seems like this trail attracts people who don't have a big history in through hiking. I get random questions from people looking at doing it in the future, and a good amount of them are just trying to do some big awesome thing, and they've never done anything like this before. I think I tend to come off kind of down on it because I'm trying to give a realistic view of what this is actually like. I mean, this is way more stressful and difficult than the AT or the PCT, which is just set up for travel. You know, you've got easy resupply, you've got water sources, things like that. And I think people don't realize that. They view this as walking town to town, and that seems more approachable for a certain type of person versus anything involving, you know, wilderness. See the people wigging out earlier on this one about bears and carrying bear spray through Delaware. So don't get me wrong, the American Discovery Trail is a cool route and I am enjoying it, but I feel like people should be prepped for what they're actually going to run into out here. You got to remember, supposedly, for the PCT and the AT, which again are much more straightforward, only 25% of people who start with the intent to finish actually finish. And this trail, there are far less people even attempting it, but it seems like very, very few actually do the entire thing. And most of those are doing a significantly shorter version. A long way from southern Ohio. See, I was starting to consider stuff like that last night. They were just few and far between. It's all driveways and cow fields out here. Yeah, that was one of my maybes for setting up last night. Good that I went where I did. And here's that firehouse I was talking about yesterday. I'm gonna duck in and see if they have a faucet on the building and top off my water bottles because I don't have any more confirmed stops today. Okay, so this is just gonna be one of those days. There is a spigot at the firehouse like the guide mentioned, but it's off. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing dregs for a while. See if there's a building along the way. Problem is all of them are so far back. You know, I don't want to go half a mile up somebody's driveway and get attacked by a pit bull. Quiet at bloody last. There's less traffic on this road, fortunately. I just had somebody stop. They were asking if I'd seen a UPS truck, and then they gave me a little water, so I have at least a little more of a buffer. I'm basically hoping I can get up the hill to the point where I can start filtering here. Though I guess there is some sort of like kooky religious thing up here. I could go ask them for water. I don't know. Do you really want to drink the Kool-Aid at one of those places? It really does not seem right that I should be starting back out after a week's break with foot issues and pack rub issues, but that's how it goes. Okay, I'm really getting to the point where I could stand for a water source here. Haven't had any luck flagging anybody down or finding anybody at any of the campers or houses along the way. Okay, I was starting to feel like I was invisible. I can't find anybody out here. Any of the cars, I'm making like drinking motions and no luck. They stopped and they gave me a soda and filled up one of my bottles, so I should be good to the campground. I am not normally a Mountain Dew person. It's just, I don't know, strikes me as weird, but oh, this tastes lovely. Okay, up at 8,400. I'm going to be paralleling the road, but I do get to be on a trail through here. It looks like it's a bunch of dirt bike trails. And yes, that says Woodland Park, 32 miles, so I could have avoided the whole Colorado Springs thing. But what fun would that have been? Okay, map showed some power line trail, but it doesn't look like it exists. I found some tape on trees, but it's cross country and I'm not feeling the need to stick to that. So, beginner trail it is. And so much for that. The road is actually preferable to the dirt bike trail with the traffic that's on it right now. People keep coming shooting around corners too fast. And here's my actual water source. There has not been a single flowing creek or anything up here so far, so this might get interesting. At least I'm going to be descending for most of tomorrow, so theoretically I'll use a little less water. I mean, I got from 5 p.m. yesterday until 3 this afternoon on what I had. This has kind of sucked with all the traffic, but just talked to the camp host and they do have a water spigot over here, so I'm at least set for tonight. And that has a tang, but I guess it'll work. Okay, sadly looks like I kind of screwed up here. It is a ways down this hill to get to this campground. And as it turned out, I just noticed that there is a note, but no icon about water in another 5 miles. So I should have just made for that, but oh well. Despite how much my feet are hurting, my goal is to make that 5 miles because I think that might get me out of range of all of this. This really isn't my thing, the amount of traffic noise and generators and everything. So if I can get to 5 miles, I can top off water, and then it looks like I am on a trail to connect with the Colorado Trail. I won't make it to the Colorado Trail tonight, but I'm sure I'll be able to camp along that. Okay, so new plan. My feet are just hurting too much. This is not fun. Probably should have pulled over earlier, but that was a busy area. So this looks like it's a little bump in an area marked closed for motor vehicles. So I should be fine here. So this will give me a water and a bathroom fill up in the morning, even if I'm probably a few miles short. I think the rerouting along the trail and then finally to the road probably has me around 22 miles, but technically my forward progress is a little less. I am just done. Nice place to camp, at least off in the trees. Nothing like traffic and gunshots off in the distance. I've been hurting the entire day. I'm just hoping things get better tomorrow. Home sweet home.